So today we're checking out Aloft on the Steam Deck. I had my eye on this for a wee while when it first went into early access, which it's still in case you're unaware. So game is not finished yet, but I've just an early preview of this. I've probably put about 3.5 hours in. I'm still in the opening islands, but I really wanted to talk about it and let you know how it's going on Steam Deck for me personally. The game is playable, as you can see, but the first thing is everything is going to need to go on low, and you need the upscaler, the internal upscaler that the game has turned on. And it's got different presets, but putting it on low, you get a very cross-hatched appearance, the resolution's getting really low. So just keep that in mind if you do think on picking up Aloft. It's an early access, so optimization is still something that's going on. So the frame rate does dip into the mid-20s, up into the 30s, and depending on where you are, it does vary quite a lot. So just performance-wise on Steam Deck, yes, it's playable, but performance is below average at the moment. But it's an early access, so maybe this is something to come back to in the future when it's in full release, or they do an optimization pass. So yeah, that's a big one out of the way, is that the game is playable and it works reasonably well. It's from all the footage you're seeing behind you. But yeah, just to be aware, it's early access, and optimization is always going to be an ongoing process for the team. So just a little bit of a heads up there. So you might be wondering what Aloft is. It is a first or third person. There is an option for third person in the menu. Sandboxy survival game. It's co-op. I kind of have been turned off of a lot of what's best to describe these kind of games, this survival game genre in general. I do enjoy them from time to time, like 7 Days to Die I really enjoyed, and then there's other ones like Nightingale I tried, which I didn't mind, but I didn't get into. But this one here has its own, it's a little bit different in the fact that, yes, it's a survival game with crafting, but it's more of a cozy survival game. The music's very relaxing, everything's very calm, and you can play solo, which I really like, because I'm never going to play this with other players. This is always going to be a solo game for me. And the whole premise is you pick an island, like it's all floating islands. You find an island you like and you make it your home base, and you put sails on it, and you put your map there, and you put a wheel, you build all this stuff, and then you can fly around all the floating islands and set waypoints and go explore and find chests and items and more resources to build more things. And the great thing is I think what I really like about it, compared to something like 7 Days to Die or whatever, is because it's a cozy game, there's no rush on any of this. It's a really good pick up and play. I actually think it's quite a good fit for Steam. You can just explore a single island, you restore it to full health. So usually when you go to an island, it'll have, you'll craft later on a book, and it'll say you need to have this much flora or fauna and this many insects or animals to complete its restoration. And you could just do that for half an hour, and be like, cool, I've restored the island, I've got the treasure, and that's me for tonight. And that's how I've kind of been playing it. That's why I'm still in the opening area. I found a stone tablet that unlocked, like on the overworld map on your map table, like a new major island potentially to go to it in the core. And so I think the story of the game is that there's a fungal disease on islands, and you're kind of going around curing it, and there's a huge tornado in the middle of the world, and I think you're making your way towards that tornado to find out what's going on. And so there's combat, as you can see here. Very early on, I know there's things like bows and stuff, but I've yet to craft a bow. I'm wondering if I need to go to the new set of islands outside of the opening zone here to unlock the items required to craft one. I'm not 100% sure on that. Combat is quite floaty at the moment. You have a basic attack and a block, and when you're blocking you can do a pushback. I don't see the point of the pushback. Maybe there is. And most combat involves, at the moment, I've only come across the little fungal creatures, and then you take out their little orb, like their little fungus trees here, and you take them out, and that will restore some of the island. And other things you'll need to do is chop down infected trees and things of that nature. And there's also puzzles on the island, which have actually been quite... some of them are quite difficult, or they take me a while to figure out, funnily enough. I do get there eventually, but yeah. Some of the puzzles with these stone structures can actually take me, a good 15-20 minutes to work out. And last night, the final puzzle that I was working on, I was like, I knew what I had to do, but I wasn't doing it right. So I ended up Googling it. I was like, I need to run, not just walk. And it still wasn't working. So I just ran around in circles on these floor tiles until it opened. It was a bit of a bloody muck around, but I got there in the end. But yeah, the cozy aspect of this survival game is a nice twist on it, and I feel like this has been overlooked by Funcom, because not overlooked is the wrong word, but people have overlooked this Funcom title because of Dune, which is fair. Dune's the big one, right? And I guess I should actually say the other big part of this, as you've seen here, is the flying mechanic. You get the flying basically straight away. You do the very opening tutorial, and you build your wingsuit, and then that's it. You're away laughing. And I really like the wingsuit mechanic of flying between islands. You get the little boost gauge, so you can go a little bit faster. So this was one of the puzzles here that I had to my brain had to engage for a wee while. You push the button, and then you see that some of the outside things light up, and that's where these orbs needed to go. It just took me a minute here to figure this out, because I was like, oh, maybe you put the orbs on the lit up ones, and then my brain clicked, and I was like, oh, I get it now. So yeah, you'll figure these things out eventually, and like I say, this is still the tutorial stuff, so I'm a bit worried later on when they get more complicated, I'm going to really be struggling. I'm not sure how many of these islands are procedurally generated, but I do know that in their roadmap going forward, they are going to have more diversity in islands, because currently all the opening level islands are basically all just greeny grassland little islands, which I don't mind, but I'm guessing more diversity will always help. The UI, I must say, is okay at the moment. I find it a little bit convoluted for finding what I need. So here's flying an island. It is very fun flying an island. And I this is my second island that I changed to, and the bigger the island, the more work, it's a lot more work to see where you're going, but you do get there eventually. But yeah, the UI definitely needs a bit more work, but that is on their ongoing to do. I think one of the major ones for me is you have your quick items down the bottom that you can scroll through with your D-pad. But I wish, because when you walk up to a tree or a stone, it'll say, oh, it'll have a little icon for the pickaxe, right? So it knows that you need a pickaxe to do it. But instead of just auto changing to it, even though it's equipped in my quick inventory, I still have to manually scroll through. So I think if they had the option there of auto equipping, as long as you have it in your quick inventory, it would automatically equip it standing in front of it, instead of me having to manually change to it all the time, would be great. So what else have they got? I know they've been adding more monsters and stuff, but I haven't gotten quite enough in. Building is okay. It's a bit of a weird one with building, because you'll lay the floor, you would have seen earlier, and then you have to close out of the building thing and then actually hammer it to complete it. I feel like that's two steps that isn't necessary. Either completely auto-complete it when I build it, or while I'm still in the build menu, I can complete building it instead of having to close it and then build it. You know what I mean? It just seems like a little bit of extra. It's just there's a few extra clicks that you have to do things. That is just a little bit much sometimes, and I just want it to go go fast. It's already a cozy game. You might as well make some of the stuff real easy to do. But I really enjoyed discovering the islands, gathering resources, and building a little home. I picked this island that I'm on currently because it already had like a dilapidated home inside of a mountain, and I was like, that's really cool. So I was like, this is now my home. I am making this my primary island, and I'm going to keep it. But yeah, I know that you can... I haven't unlocked any other wingsuits or any like more combat weapons, because I'd really love to get a bow. I think that would make some of the combat more fun being at ranged. But yeah, having your big bases, like looking online at some of the other people's islands, it's insane like how crazy you can get. And I know you can get things like wind turbines to get power to generate even more things, and like it just goes insane. And I know there is other enemy types, like there's like mushroom men as well as the fungi men, along with a lot more creatures to find. Like I've only found sheep and a few insects, but I'm looking forward to like exploring. But I think the thing I like about it is that I can take it at my own pace. I think that's the best thing about this game, is there's no rush. And it runs okay on the Steam Deck currently. But I'd say as time goes on, the performance of this will be increase exponentially. So this is my first impressions of Aloft. If you're in looking for a survival game on the lighter side, this could potentially be an option for you. Keep an eye out, see if it goes on special at some point. I don't know whether they do specials on early access titles, but that's just worth keeping in mind. And check out other reviews too, of course. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.